This is now round 10 Spa. This is the feature race. This is our first feature race since the update with all the new physics. We obviously just had the quali race then, which was full of drama, but that was on wet conditions, as we're running off the weather forecast from yesterday for the quali race, and we're now running off today's weather, so it will be a dry quali, dry race today for the feature. As I say, the quali race, it didn't look like anybody wanted to win that. There was everybody that got in the lead either made a mistake, crashed. It was full of drama, so hopefully the feature race can be just as drama filled. I think we will be should be getting quali underway in the next minute or so. All your the normal players to watch out for. Smiley, who on the screen is R, Shimesh, Penelope, Boosted, some of the top names to look out for. SD, Highfield, who's just come through the GT race, Panda, who just had a phenomenal drive from going from 11 seconds clear, crashing, getting damage, 22 seconds behind, to working his way back up into a qualifying position. All these GT class drivers now extremely fast, or basically as fast, if not faster, than a lot of the pros. Both classes now very close. Who have we got out first on track? Who we got? All the drivers getting out now with such a long lap time. These guys will want to get out quickly and start setting lap times. We'll go on. I think we'll go on board with Penelope for the first lap. See what sort of lap time she can do. I don't know if any of these guys will get more than one lap in. Some of them should be able to get two. See what goes on. Got with Wrench on the out lap as he's the first driver around. We'll have a little watch of him. Saying since the BOP update, this vehicle not quite as fast as it was in a straight line. But we'll see how he gets on tonight with that long Kemmel straight. We'll switch on to Penelope as we get round to start the fast lap. Penelope, our championship leader. We honestly don't know how any of these guys are going to go now since the update. Physics have completely changed. BOP's changed. Everything's changed. So it'd be really interesting to see what effect that has on the championship and how much it can shake it up. So Wrench on his way now. Soon be taking Blanchimont. This will be flat. Should be flat out for these guys. And then as they come round, it'll be a heavy braking zone into the pit stop chicane, and it'll be who's brave enough to brake the latest but manage to keep the line. We'll go on board with Penelope for this lap. See how she gets on. Our championship leader. Let's go on and see how she gets on in her first qualifying lap since the update. Very hard braking zone now down into La Source. Very important to get your braking right here, because this is going to give you the run out of here. Will carry all the way up through Eau Rouge, Radion, and onto the Kemmel Straight. Very important, the corner La Source. Let's see what line Penelope takes through the bottom of Eau Rouge and up through Radion. Nice and smooth, stays in it. Upshift into 6 now for the long run down the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe. Another hard braking zone here, braking from very, very fast speeds. Very slippy through this sector. Dry or wet, extremely slippy. As we come down the hill now into Rivage. Important brake, spot your braking point, get that right. Get the power on as soon as you can through here, without without ruining your line for the next corner. Very smooth from Penelope. She's on the power now. Back down the hill again. Down to Pouon. Can gain and lose so much time through commitment through here and getting your line right. I think she's on for a good lap here. The gap to Wrench in the car in front seems to have come down a little bit. Come through this back chicane now. She's on the power early. Opts to stay in second there with a shift up to third now. As they brake, she brakes now for Stavolo. Another very important corner to get on throttle early. This will give you the run all the way down now through Blanchimont and into the pit stop chicane. Another high speed part of this track. I mean, I was listening yesterday, and for the F1 cars, this track is 75% full throttle. So these GT cars are going to be on throttle as well a lot through here. Very fast track. One of the fastest circuits on the calendar. She's really catching Wrench up now, so she will be on for a good lap. Let's hope this doesn't ruin her lap a little bit. I think that might have slowed her up a small amount, but we'll see what goes on through it. Obviously, Wrench doesn't have to move out the way. He's also on a qualifying lap. Smiley has gone faster, the fastest at the minute with a 2:16.1. We'll go on with Smiley for this lap. See if he can improve on that. He's going to get the tow now from Penelope. All through Eau Rouge, Radion and down the Kemmel Straight. Let's see what happens here for Smiley now. Will he be able to go any faster? Will Penelope go faster? That's going to be on the edge of a penalty through there. All drivers on to the last lap now. They've all got one more shot at this. It's very difficult here now. He's slightly down on his lap. Is he being held up by Penelope here? Obviously, she will definitely not move out the way. These guys are all on qualifying laps. Nobody has to move out the way. It's every man for himself here. This is only gonna contradict his lap if he keeps trying to make moves. He's already 5 tenths up, so I think it'd be interesting to see if Penelope can top that. Back through Pouhon now. Porsche very planted. Smiley, another really quick driver of ours. He's always there. He has been... Oh, loses the backhand there, catches it well. He has been suffering with tyre wear in the last few rounds, which have hampered his racing. He's been right up the front, but the tyre wear has just knocked him back slightly during the longer racing. Penalty there, that lap's over for him. There he is, spinning round in front of Dad. Dad currently in third with his lap from before. Great qualifying position that'll be for him. Second in the GT Championship, and he has just won the GT qualification race, which is really good to see. Let's see what he can do as he crosses the line. This will be the last lap for these guys. Penelope doesn't go any faster. Dad, no improvement. Honda in fourth. Will he improve? He goes third, so he gets in front of Dad. Honda, one of our new pro drivers, did his first race with us last week. Did really well. I just think the strategy last week wasn't the best for him. Dad in fourth. Crash for Harge. And that's the end of qualifying. Let's run through and see what we've got here. So we've got Rico on pole, which is Smiley. He's 2 tenths quicker than Penelope, our championship leader. Followed by Honda and Brooks. Followed by Dad, followed by Haz. SD12 in 6th. Specs in 7th. Panda, our GT championship leader, in 8th. Wrench in 9th. Ronnie 10th. Shippo in 11th, he'll be happy with that. Apex 12th, Gloss 13th, Highfield 14th, and Boosted, one of our new pro drivers who is extremely quick, finished second in his first race with us last week, in 15th, but I think he has not set a lap time, so that means he obviously had some big issues in those qualifying laps, so it'd be interesting to see Boosted come from the back there and see how many inroads he can make into these top guys. Junkie, yeah, not a king no more. Yeah, Wrench down here, the self-proclaimed King of Spa. Winner of the Sprint Championship round yesterday in a different vehicle. He drives the BMW in that class. And he won our Sprint championship race yesterday. Not such a good qualifying, but last week I remember he had a bad qualifying again and still came through with a 4th by the end of the race. That Supra he's driving was extremely good on its tyres. Looks like since the BOP update it's not quite as good on its tyres, and it certainly has lost some of its straight line speed, which was its major advantage. So it'd be interesting to see now, since this BOP update, what happens with all these cars. I know the McLaren, which wasn't known for its speed, is a lot faster in a straight line now. So it's a big shake-up. There's a big shake-up since this update, and be good to see what happens now. Will Smiley be able to get a win? Will Penelope continue dominating races in this championship? Good to see one of our new drivers, Hondan, there in 3rd. What is he going to do? What is going to be the strategy for these drivers? So Smiley opting to start with mediums here. Looks like pretty much everybody starting on mediums for this first stint. 5 lights and we're off. Good start from Smiley there. Is he going to be able to get her across and cut Penelope off, or is she going to take the lead? She's managed to get herself into the lead with Smiley directly next to her. She runs off a little bit there. Hopefully that doesn't give a penalty. It's down the Kemmel straight now. They're all going to be slipstreaming each other. We've got 2 clear lines here. Smiley trying to get back up the inside of Penelope here. Dad into the lead. Great start from Dad here. Smiley's running it in a bit deep there. He has to give space for Dad. We do not want to see people taking the lead like that through bumping people. It looked fair. It did look aggressive, but Smiley knows he needs to get out in front and try and establish some sort of lead against these guys. Dad into 2nd. SD12 into 3rd. Great start from him. And look at this for a start from Wrench. Into 4th position from 9th. Apex into 5th. Hondan into 6th. The big loser here on the first lap is Penelope. Shuffled down, our championship leader, shuffled down from 2nd to 6th. We all know she will start making inroads up through this table, but that is not the start she would have wanted. Hondan 7th, Gloss 8th, Hasnajal in 9th, Highfield in 10th, Boosted worked his way up to 11th from the back, Panda 12th, Ronnie 13th, Shippo 14th, and Specs, after a crash on the first couple of corners, in 15th, and with damage, he's going to have to work his way back through. So we'll go back to the front. Smiley already with a 1.4 second lead. He's broke the toe of Dad already. He's going to be trying desperately to get away. SD12, which is Scott, into 3rd. Great start from him. He's got Wrench all over the back of him. Wrench going for a move here. And he's at Apex around the outside. Runs a bit deep. Apex going to have the inside for the next corner. And these fighting is going to open the door for Penelope. She's coming back up through the field. We've got on board with her here as she dives up the inside of Apex. Already back up to 4th. She'll want to get back onto SD as quick as he can, get into that slipstream. She won't be in it on this lap with a 1.5 second, and she's going to be vulnerable to the cars behind here. She will be very vulnerable to Wrench and Apex here, especially with that newfound speed of that. This is going to be a penalty for Apex here. Cuts Raddy on a lot there. I think we will see a penalty here for Apex. That's 1.5. Very heavy penalty for him. That is not going to help him. Gloss with a 1 second penalty going up the inside. He makes his... Whoa! Highfield completely misses his braking zone there. Makes contact with Wrench and spins him round. That would definitely not have been intentional. It would have just been a complete miss of the braking zone for Highfield. Penalty, I know. Roll-up. Penalties flying up all over the place at the minute. Penelope not really making any inroads into SD12 at the minute. Let's go back. Gloss into 5th. He has a 1 second penalty, which will promote Honden into 5th once he comes through this next section, I would imagine. Haas with a penalty in 7th. Apex with an even bigger penalty in 8th. Panda with a penalty in 9th. Ronnie with a penalty in 10th. Shippo, the first driver out of those, like without a penalty in 11th. Boosted into 12th, so he's lost a position from the first lap. I don't know what's gone on there. I was expecting to see him come through the field a bit faster after last week's performance, but this physics update is certainly shaking this up a little bit. Highfield after that incident with a 1 second penalty. Wrench here will get that past Highfield here. Super unlucky. He was great start from 9th, got himself up there, and just unlucky to be caught there in that contact. Dad seems to be reeling. Smiley back in a little bit now. Penelope setting the fastest lap with a 2:19.1. She is pushing to get back up there. She is now onto the back of SD12. I think we will definitely see a manoeuvre by the end of the Kemmel Straight. Aston Martin seems very quick in a straight line though. What is Penelope going to be able to do through here? Is she going to be able to get a run on him up into Lake Home? Here we go. Are we going to see a change here for 3rd and Penelope making her way back up through the field into a podium position on lap 3? She'll dart out to the right now, I would imagine. Who's going to brake later? SD stays in it. He's not going to let her through. Pushes her wide there. I think they have to give each other space here. It's so difficult. These cars quite big. He manages to stay in front of her only just. Now into Ravage. What's she going to do around here? Will she sit behind him now, or will she go for a move? Nice and tidy through there. As they come down now into Puam. She's closing back into the back of him now. Will we see a dive to the inside into the chicane? Good defending there from SD. Shepherds are wide, takes the line away. They're both closing right into the back of Dad here. Dad's being sucked back into this after he managed to get himself away and get back, started pulling Smiley back in. Doesn't look like it's been a very good lap from Dad. Will Penelope be able to get a run here on SD into the pit stop chicane? She'll be flat out through Blanchimont. Not sure if she's going to be close enough. It's going to be a last second dive. She's reeling him right in now. She moves to the right, and she has gone for it. SD will still be on the inside through the second half of this. Penelope's not going to be able to turn in with him being there. She keeps it in round the outside. They are side by side now going down the start straight into La Source. That Aston looks slightly faster than the Mercedes, but she will have the inside line here. Penelope holds the inside line. How much space is she going to give him? SD stays in it there. A little bit of contact, but it's all fair. Aston very fast in a straight line by the looks of it, but she's even closer than she was on the last lap. Yes, it is great racing from Penelope and SD. We're definitely going to see a move here. SD moves to the inside. He's going to force Penelope around the outside, but she will then have the inside for the second half of the chicane. She's got the move done now. She will be hoping now to set sail and get onto the back of Dad as quick as she can. We'll go down the field a bit now. Honden right is really close onto the back of SD as well. He hasn't gone anywhere here. He's been lurking behind, and it looks like he's starting to make inroads into these guys. Gloss, great drive from him in 6th. He's on soft tyres. He's opted for the soft tyre. Everybody else seems to be on mediums. Asnajal just behind him with the medium tyre. Panda, our GT Championship leader, into 8th. Boosted now has worked his way up to 9th. We're starting to see some inroads into these guys further up the field from Boosted now. Shippo in 10th position, he'll be very happy with that. One of his, I think this was only his second time he qualified for the GT, or maybe third time for the GT class tonight. So he'll be really happy. That Renault has been really bad on its tyres up until this update, but it looks like it's been levelled out with this BOP change and the physics change, which is great news to see. Apex down in 11th. Wrench and Highfield still there with each other. Specs has now worked his way back up to the back of these guys, with Ronnie at the back in 15th. Smiley now with a 5-second lead to Dad. Tyre wear's looking good, which has been Smiley's Achilles heel really through these last few rounds. The Achilles heel has been the tyre wear on that Porsche. It's not been good, it's been costing him a lot of time. Dad into second place here, but he's got Penelope closing him in. He's only got 1.5 seconds to Penelope behind him. Honden now has worked his way up into 4th. That's pushed SD back down into 5th, and Gloss now right on the back of SD. Will SD, that pace on that Aston Martin, he's going to be right up the back of Honden here. He darts out to the right to make a move. It's going to be the last of the late breakers here. He manages to pull across in front of him and cover the line. In doing so, goes 1.7 tenths purple through the first sector. Honden behind now is going to have to do all that work again to get past him. Little SD train, yeah. Here we go. Oh, it's Gloss into 5th now. My mistake. He must have worked his way past Honden in that move there as well. Gloss pushing on now. He's going to want to get past SD. He's going to have to make the most of this last bit of these soft tyres. I can imagine he's going to have to pick quite a lot earlier than everybody else. We've got Honden behind, and the medium tyre wear's minimal in comparison to Gloss. So Gloss really has to make the most of those softer tyres and that grip advantage, because that will go away quite quickly, and the advantage will switch back the other way. Haas sitting in 7th, starting to work his way onto the back of these guys, just slightly off the back of them. He's under a second behind Honden, so he will get the slipstream advantage here. This could really bring him onto the back of them. Gloss going for a move on SD now, round the outside at Blanchimont. It's very brave. They're going to get great racing from both of those, giving each other space. Gloss had no choice but to back out there. It's not wide enough to go side by side through there. Is he going to make a move now into La Source, or is he going to hold on and try and make it up the Kemmel Straight? Aston Martin very quick in a straight line, but so is that Corvette. Is Penelope onto the back of Dad yet? Yep, she's wound the gap down to under a second now. She soon will be within slipstream, but probably not quite close enough to make a move. SD has managed to pull a little gap on Gloss here. Maybe just enough to keep him in front by the time they get to Lacombe at the end of this Kemmel Straight. Up through Eau Rouge and Radion. 4 drivers here in a train, all dragging each other along, all making moves on each other. None of them close enough to quite make a move there. Purple first sector there for Gloss. That little single file through here, not the easiest place to make a move through there. You can make a move down into Rivage, but it has to be a dive at the last minute. Penelope now closed up to the back of Dad. The 2 Mercedes drivers will be fighting very shortly. How long will Penelope leave it till she pulls the plug? How patient will she be? She's obviously going to be very aware that Smiley is 6 seconds up the road, and she's going to want to try and work her way back into that advantage of his. She's not going to want to let him get away. Dad's ran very wide there. I think we're going to see a penalty for Dad here. I think we could see a 0.5 penalty for Dad. That was very wide. He may have just got away with it. Yep, he's managed to get away with it. Penelope here. Are we going to see a move? after Blanchimont and down into the pit stop chicane. Are we going to see a move into this last corner, or will she wait? It looks like she's going to be patient and wait. They have closed right up onto Smiley here. What's happened? Has Smiley had made a mistake? He was 6 seconds clear, now he's only 3. There must have been a mistake there from Smiley. Look at that lap time at 2:20.8. He's 3 seconds slower than his fastest lap time. Don't know what's happened there, but there's definitely been something. That'll bring hope for the other drivers. This will make them want to push even more. Penelope now might make a move at Dad at the end of the Kemmel. She may get onto the back of him through here. If she can get up closer to him, she will dart out and try and make a move. We'll stay on board here and see if she can get this done. Looks like she might just be too far away. She's not moving up quick enough. No, we're not going to see a move there. Purple first sector though. Go back with SD. What's going on here? SD's got himself a small gap to Honda behind. He's got a 0.5 second penalty, which by the time they come to that line will drop him down into the clutches of Haas. Gloss now on those really worn softs. I'd imagine the grip's dropping off quite heavily on those now. He's just been passed by Boosted. Boosted working his way up from 15th in qualifying after not setting a lap time. So he's worked his way up, he's worked his way halfway through this field now. He's going to want to keep on pushing on and try and make his way further and further up the points. Gloss is surely going to have to pit soon. He's starting to hemorrhage time now, which is never a good thing. Panda in 9th, circulating well. He'll want to get up there because his nearest rival in the GT Championship is into 2nd and has just won the GT qualification race. So he's going to want to work his way back up there. Shippo in 10th, battling with Apex closely. Specs into 12th now with Highfield and Wrench behind them. Wrench looks like he's had another issue. He's got rear bumper damage and he is dropped considerably off the back of Highfield now. Ronnie in 15th. Smiley has re-extended his lead back to 4.3 seconds. Penelope here definitely going to be making a move on Dad here. She opts to stay behind him very patiently. Doesn't want to make a dive there and make a mistake. She gets up now. Dad just managing to stay in front. Out of those low traction zones, he's managing to get enough power on and get away. She's just not close enough again. She may be here though. She's half a second behind him coming down here now. They'll soon be going through Eau Rouge and Radion and up onto the Kemmel. She's closing in now. We may see a move by the end of this straight. Is Dad going to cover the inside? Is he going to stay on the racing line? It just doesn't quite look like she's making enough inroads. It'd be late if she goes now. She opts out of it. Clever move, I think that was. That would have been too late. She's really up the back of him now. Is she going to make a move now into Rivage? As they come down this hill into Rivage now, is she going to get the space? No, Dad seems to just manage to squirt away again. She's gone to the inside. Dad's ran wide. They're side by side through Rivage and she gets the move done. Will Dad try and go back up the inside here? No, he gives her space. And that's it. She's made the move now and she's going to want to get onto the back of Smiley, who's managed to re-extend the lead back out to 5.7 seconds. Inspired drive here by Smiley. He really is pushing hard this race. His tyre wear's looking virtually identical to Penelope's, which has been his big Achilles heel in these last few races. His tyre wear just has been letting him down massively. Obviously Penelope now into 2nd with our GT champion. She is our complete overall championship leader. She has been for pretty much the whole season. I think since the 2nd round, very dominant. Then we have our GT championship leader, and that is Dad. These guys have to qualify for this feature race through a GT race, but they also have their own championship. He is, in fact, he's not the championship leader, he's 2nd, but he will be right up there, very close to the lead of the championship by the end of this race if he can keep driving as he is. SD12 into still in fourth position. He's got Honden right on the back of him here. Is Honden going to make a move now into the bus stop? He pulls that back out of it. That Aston's so fast in a straight line. It's just managing to edge away when he needs it to. Tyre wear's all looking very similar, which is nice to see. Not such a big swing from tyre wear. These cars all seeming very, very similar on tyre wear at the minute, which is really good to see. Boosted now getting onto the back of these guys in 6th. He's worked his way up from 15th position on the grid, and he's starting to make inroads now. Soon be trying to get his way into the top 5. Let's go back up with Honden here as he tries to make a move on SD. This could be a penalty for SD. It looked like he was very wide there. Yeah, 1 second penalty. That is going to drop him behind Honden by the end of this lap, and may drop him into the clutches of Get Boosted as well. SD off at the top. He's off at Lecombe. He's coming back on. That's Boosted past him, and Honden past him. That's not what he wants. With that 1 second penalty as well, he'll be dropped right back into Hajnajal and Panda. Not good. He's gone from running third 2 laps ago to being shuffled right down the field now. Penelope not being able to make any inroads into Smiley at the minute. He is extending his lead at the minute. He's really starting to pull away now, stretching his legs. Is she going to be able to do anything through the rest of this race? Smiley pushing on. Dad managing to stay on the back of Penelope quite closely, but that 1 second penalty is not going to do him any favours. That's going to drop him to, well, probably 3 seconds off the back of her by the time they get down to the bus stop. Honden holding 4th now, with Boosted closing him in from behind. I think we may see Boosted trying to make a move very soon. He's going to want to try and work his way up into those podium positions. He's got a long way to go, but he will certainly try. Another great race here from all of these guys again. Haj and Panda battling there. Panda trying to work his way back up. His nearest title competitor in the GT class. Panda leading that championship with Dad in 2nd in that championship, so Panda's going to want to get as close to Dad as possible. Haj with a solid drive there into 6th. He's going to be trying to hold off Panda here. Not sure since this BOP update how fast that Ferrari and that Mercedes are in a straight line. Tyre wear seems to have been levelled out really well by these new physics and BOP change, which is really good to see. Nobody absolutely storming away on tyre wear, nobody really being punished by the tyre wear, which is good as a racing perspective. Boosted not quite managed to get up to the back of Honden yet. He's floating around 8.5 tenths behind him. He's going to want to get there as soon as he can, because he's going to want to try and start working down through that 4.5 second gap from Honden to Dad. In turn, Penelope 4.5 seconds in front of Dad, but 7.2 seconds now behind Smiley. It's a big ask, but if anybody can do it, it would be Penelope. Sometimes Smiley is his own worst enemy with mistakes. He's absolutely storming ahead at the minute though, driving a superb race, setting very, very fast lap times, very consistent lap times. So he's going to be very difficult to beat after this. Honden still in 4th, Boosted now under 5 tenths behind him. He's going to be trying very hard here to make this move. That Jaguar very fast in a straight line, as is the NSX, but that Jag just seems to be pulling away a little bit through that fast section there, through Blanchimont. As they go through the bus stop chicane, are we going to see Boosted make a move here? He's got right onto the back of Honden. Honden with a break of traction there. Boosted moves out to the outside. That Jaguar has just got enough legs on it though to pull back in front. Boosted round the outside. Has a little brake of traction himself there. Let's go on board as they go up through Eau Rouge and Radion. Jaguar very, very fast. It's stretching its legs now and starting to eke away a little bit. In the slipstream though, is Boosted going to be able to make a move? He sits in that slipstream. He's not making enough inroads here. He pulls out the slipstream, decides better and drops back in. Very late on the brakes there, sucks right up to the back of Honden there. These guys, nice clean battle here, that's what we like to see, clean battles all down the field. Arsh still in 6th with Panda right onto the back of him now. Battling very closely, these guys. Been following each other now for a couple of laps. Panda's going to want to try and make a move as soon as he can. SD and 8th now in sort of a no man's land now. Floating in between them all in 8th. Shippo in 9th position here. He'll be really happy with that position if he can stay there. Tyre wear on this Renault is looking a lot better than it has done, which is good to see. Specs in 10th. Gloss has obviously pitted because he was on softs in that first stint. Now onto a medium for the second stint, so it'd be interesting to see as people start pitting where Gloss filters in with that. Apex is obviously pitted onto brand new mediums, those tyres are brand new. Highfield also pitted. Wrench opting to go for the hards. I don't know if he was on them from the start. Completely different strategy to the rest. Smiley 7.7 seconds out in front now in this first stint. Penelope driving a very nice race, not making any inroads into Smiley, but she is still pulling away from Dad. Dad in 3rd position here. He'll be loving this. He's got a nice little gap behind him as well, nice buffer zone there. If he can stay in it, tyre wear looks good on that Mercedes. Honda in the Jaguar completely sideways out of La Source. That's going to give Boosted a good run now down through Eau Rouge and Radion. We know that Jaguar is very fast. These drivers have done really well to adapt to these new physics changes. They only come in very late into this week. He dives to the inside here. And he gets the move done. Very nice and clean there. Very typical end of Kemmel Straight manoeuvre there. That's how most passes get made there. They dive to the inside. Honda right onto the back of him there. I thought we were going to see another move back down into Rivage, but Boosted managed to stay in 4th. A lot less crashing than I expected. Yes, Viola, exactly. I thought we were going to see some more crashing, but I know these drivers have been putting in serious amounts of time on this new update as they've had to. It's completely changed the physics of the cars, and these guys I know have been putting time in, which is what is needed to be up there like this. I think this is probably the closest battle on the track at the minute, except for Haj and Panda, who are still bumper to bumper. Panda's going to want to get this move made. He's making this move now. He backs out. I think he accidentally nudged Haj off there, and he does the right thing. Backs out of the move to let Haj back through. Very fair, very sportsmanlike driving from Panda there. Realised he'd forced Haj off track then and waited for him to come back on. That's what we like to see. He's setting himself up for a move here through Blanchemont though. Is he going to try and dive to the inside here? Is he going to bump draft Haj? He's bump drafting at the minute. Will we see a move down into the bus stop? Haj is very wide there. That could be a penalty, which could be what Panda needs. Panda to the outside here through the first part of the bus stop chicane, which means he should be on the inside. He covers off the inside there. Haj dives into the pits. Dad into the pits also. He's trying to get off those medium tyres. Those medium tyres still looking in good condition though. I'm surprised we've done such an early dive into the pits. But I suppose this is halfway through the race. If you're going to be pitting, you may as well be pitting and get that fresh rubber on and go for an undercut. extremely long pit stop in these races. I think that we worked out the pit stop was about 40 seconds loss. So it's huge. If you do not want to be pitting any more than you have to here, it's super important that you only go into the pits really when you need to. I wonder when we'll see Smiley and Penelope dive into the pits now after seeing Dad jump in, Harj jump in. I wonder how long these guys will take to cover that off, because Dad on that fresh rubber should be faster. This promotes Boosted into 3rd position now. He's worked his way up from 15th. Still got Honda on the back of him. These guys will be making the decision here. The decision or think between strategy will be: do you drag these mediums out for a bit longer and try and go onto softs for the second stint of the race, or do you do like what Dad has done and go medium, and opt to start on get on those fresher tyres earlier and for a bit longer? Little bit of a wiggle there from Penelope. Gets it back under control quite easily. Penelope could be thinking about this stop now. Is she going to go to mediums? Is she going to go on to softs a bit later on in this race and really make a push at the end? Smiley will obviously be thinking exactly the same thing. Honda now right up back. He's really trying to get back onto the back of Boosted. Here's a 1.5 second lead. Panda in 5th. Is he going to dive into the pits this lap? Is he going to go again? SD in 6th. Tyres still looking in good condition on the rear. Fronts are quite a lot more worn. That's Penelope into the pits now. Penelope has opted to go for a pit stop here. Smiley has gone round again. So Smiley's opted not to pit. Penelope has pitted. Boosted into 2nd now. Honda into 3rd. Super long pit stop here. Panda up into 4th now. Penelope just pulling into a pit box, so that gives you an idea of just how long these pit stops are. SD also into the pits. Dad coming around Blanchimont and into the bus stop chicane. This will be interesting now, because where does Penelope come out in context of where Dad was? Dad's pitted a lap earlier onto that fresh tyre. He was a few seconds off Penelope. But how much of a difference will this make? Penelope on her way out way out of the pits now. We're using the 24-hour layout, so the pit is on the opposite. You could exit the pits through Eau Rouge and Radion. Penelope out comfortably in front of Dad here. Comfortably in front, so no benefit to Dad pitting early there. Penelope's managed to do well to keep herself out there. Panda in 4th at the minute. Honda in 3rd. Boosted in 2nd. Obviously these guys have still got a pit. Smiley still stomping away at the front now with an 18-second lead. That obviously is only advantage to Boosted. Penelope will be in between those guys as they come back out the pits. When will they pit though? Will Smiley opt here to go longer and try and go on to softs for the second stint of this race? Ten laps left of this race when he crosses the line. He opts to stay out again. He's going again. I think we may see Smiley here try and drag these medium tyres, go out on softs at the end. Will Boosted dive into the pits there? Will he go again? He's going again. Honda going again. Panda's got to be close to thinking about making a pit stop here. Goes again as well. Penelope in 5th. Dad in 6th position now. Gloss up into 7th. Harj into 8th after his pit stop. SD12 in 9th after the pit stop. Apex into 10th. Shippo in 11th now. He's also pitted and is back out on fresh mediums. Specs into 12th. Highfield in 13th now after that incident earlier with Wrench, who is down in 14th position here. Not quite the same glory as he had yesterday after winning the sprint race. We weren't sure how this Supra would behave after the BOP update. It seems to have lost the advantages it had with tyre wear and top end speed. It seems to have lost, which is not a good thing for Wrench. Ronnie down in 15th, having a struggle. Did really well to make his way through the GT qualification race in the top 5. Smiley here, what's he going to do? As he works his way down into Stavelot. Iconic track, Spa. Nestled in a forest in the middle of Belgium. Incredible facility. I have been there to myself and watched the Formula 1 there. Amazing place. Loads of history. Some phenomenal racing there. Obviously the host of the Spa 24-hour in GT. GT racing at another massive event, as well as the F1. Smiley's going to have to think about pitting soon due to his fuel. And in he goes, the race leader is into the pit. Where will he come out in comparison to Penelope? Boosted has a lot more fuel on than Smiley. Smiley really has burnt through his fuel quite heavily in this first stint. Seems to have used a lot more fuel than anybody else. Except for Hondon. Hondon's going to have to go for the pits here as well. He also has very low fuel. Will we see Panda make a dive into the pits here? Is he going to go again? Panda's going again. Penelope in 5th. Where's Smiley? Has he made it into his pit box yet? He's just trundling down now into his pit box, and he's into the pit box. Where is he going to come out? Boosted now into the lead. Just goes past Smiley as he goes through Eau Rouge and Radion now and up onto the Kemmel Straight. He'd be happy to lead a few laps here, especially after starting down in 15th. Panda promoted into 2nd position now. I think we may see Boosted try and go onto softs at some stage later on in this race. Panda may be thinking the same thing. Smiley on his way out the pits now. It accelerates up through Eau Rouge and Radion. 24-hour pit exit here, very difficult. He's into the barrier there. I think that might be a 3-second penalty. Has he got away with that? If he has, he's a very lucky boy. Yep, he's managed to get away with it. That could have become costly for him, as he only has a 3.5 second lead on Penelope here. Penelope has more than half that gap to him since she's been on those fresh tyres. We know Smiley had to put more fuel in than Penelope, had to put a lot more fuel in, which obviously made his pit stop a lot longer. He's carrying more fuel at the minute as well, which will make this car slightly slower than Penelope's. Will she be able to work her way? I know Viola, I cannot believe he managed to get away without a 3-second penalty there. Game very strict through there. Is Boosted going to go? I think we're going to see Boosted here go really late and go onto a set of softs. That NSX doing extremely well on its tyres and its fuel. Panda, I think we may see into the pits this lap. Low fuel now. Let's see what Boosted does as he breaks into the bus stop chicane here. Will he go again? Yep, he stays to the left and he goes again. Down the start straight, he'll be braking into La Source in a minute. Panda 13 seconds behind him here. Is he going to dive into the pits? He opts to go another lap as well. These guys, I think, are definitely going to try and go for a softer compound to end the race on a little bit less fuel. Smiley now back out there, back into the rhythm with a 3.8 second lead to Penelope. I think this is definitely a race for the win here. He's settled right back into rhythm by the looks of it, starting to re-extend that gap to Penelope again. This will not affect Penelope heavily in the championship though. She is absolutely stomping away with it at the minute. She has a big points advantage. So 2nd position, if that's your bad day, then you can never complain. Dad into 5th, but I would say 3rd in this race. Need 2nd place in the GT championship. This will be a great result for him points wise. after winning the GT qualification race, this really will be a good result for him. And it will close that GT championship right back up, if not switch it around. Haj and Honda back together again now, bumper to bumper. Honda onto the back of Haj here, Haj with a moment through Radion there. He's given himself a 1 second penalty there with that mistake. Honda doesn't need to do anything silly now, he can sit behind him until they get round to the penalty line if needed. And he'll have a free pass on Haj there. ST 14 seconds behind the guys in front here. He really is in. He has dropped right off the back of him here. Apex trying to catch him back up, trying to reel him in here. Apex wide there. We could see a penalty for Apex again. This track so harsh on track limits. You cannot run off circuit here. It will give you a penalty. He may have just about got away with it though, which we like to see. Didn't gain any time advantage, so let's get back to the front and see what Boosted's doing. Boosted going again. I think we're definitely going to see a soft stint here at the end. Panda surely has to go this lap now. Panda dives into the pit lane. This is going to be interesting to see where he comes out because this pit lane is so long. Smiley now managed to pull a 5.4 second lead on Penelope. This has definitely been our fastest driver tonight. Comfortably in front, and he is on softs. That will explain it, a lot of it as well. Penelope's out on mediums, Smiley out on softs. I hadn't noticed that before. That is a huge grip advantage for Smiley. Is he going to be able to drag these tyres to the end though? Because he has had huge problems with tyre wear in previous races. You would never have seen these tyres pulled out like this from Smiley before this physics and BOP update. But this is the kind of thing it's doing. It's mixing this championship up massively and mixing up these guys' strategies. Penelope in third position now, with Dad into fourth since Panda's pitted, his nearest championship rival. Honda now into fifth position comfortably. Haj has dropped right off the back of him here by 3 seconds. Panda coming back out now. Panda out into seventh. That's not bad there. You can't grumble at that. He's back out into seventh position. Followed by SD12. Apex now working his way onto the back of SD. We could see a battle here by the end of this lap. Look how fast that McLaren is in a straight line. It's just roaring that Aston Martin in now. Shippo will be very happy if he can hold this result here in 10th. He's in no man's land here, but he'll be more than happy with that. He'll be more than happy to have a comfortable drive in here. Wrench on those hard tyres, not really making any inroads. Boost is surely going to have to start thinking about pitting now. Fuel is low. Tyres are wearing. And he's in. I think we may see softs here. Boosted in. This will be Smiley back into the lead here comfortably with 5.8 second lead over Penelope. Them soft tyres wearing very nicely. Will he get the full remaining race distance out of these tyres? He cannot afford to pit again. Definitely cannot afford to pit again. He would just lose simply too much time. It would drop him right back into the field. So let's hope he's made the right decision here on his tyres. Penelope comfortably in second here. 6 seconds behind Smiley, but 15 seconds in front of Dad. She'll be happy with this, I think. Obviously she's used to winning, but second place when you're this far ahead in the championship is a great result still. Boosted now getting fuel and tyres. Dad crossing the line now. Heavy braking point into La Source. Let's see if he gets this right. Runs a bit wide there, but hasn't really compromised himself. Can still get a nice clean run now. Down into Eau Rouge, up through Radion. Honda there just behind him. Where's Boosted out into third now? Boosted out into third on those soft tyres. So he has got himself in front of Dad now. Great work from Boosted. Out on those soft tyres, so let's see what sort of lap times he can start setting. Can he set a fastest lap of the race? Can he close Penelope in? Using the extra grip from them fresh softs. Penelope's starting to wear through them mediums, not heavily, but it makes a massive difference when you're on a harder tyre compound and they're worn. See what Boosted can do in the next 2 or 3 laps. We'll see where this race is going. Dad comfortably in 4th position now. He'll be more than happy with that. Great result from the GT driver there. Honda into 5th, one of our new drivers, our 2nd race with us. I think he'll be very happy running round in 5th position. 4th out the pro drivers, with Dad out the way there, so good race from Honda. Harsh into 6th. He's got Panda starting to close back into him. Panda on those soft, fresher soft tyres, so he will have the advantage over Harsh. I think we will see a pass very shortly. These two have been joined at the hip for most of this race. Bumper to bumper, battling very fairly, but very aggressively as well, which is good to see. SD there with Apex trying to hunt him down. Shippo still in 10th. Specs into 11th. Gloss in 12th. Gloss looks like he may have been through the pits here again, because he was on mediums again, so he's been through the pits and back out onto softs. He will not be happy with having to pit twice here in this race. After you can see how long these pit stops are and how much time it takes out of you. Gloss into 13th with these hard tyres now. I think after that accident he may have just opted for these harder tyres to try and drag it out through the whole race. Highfield into 14th, still has front bumper damage. Ronnie in 15th. Smiley 4.8 seconds now in front of Penelope. Is that Penelope starting to close him in? Look at the tyre wear on these Porsche tyres. We said this Porsche might struggle on these softer tyres with its wear, and it is starting to eat through them. That left front tyre almost 50% worn, and he's only been out on them a couple of laps. He needs to be very careful here. If those tyres go off, he's going to be in a bad position, and especially if he has to pit. I probably would have opted for mediums, but these guys know what they're doing. They've been testing strategies, so let's see how that unfolds for Smiley. Penelope still comfortably in 2nd. Tyre wear looks good. Good lap times. Consistency again. Is Boosted making any inroads here? I think he's reeled the gap in a small amount, not massively. He's definitely going to struggle to close that gap in all the way. He's got 5 laps. Unless he's doing 2.5, 3 seconds a lap to Penelope, he's just not going to have enough. He's got a nice comfortable gap over Dad though. Honda here working very hard to try and get onto the back of Dad. Dad on mediums, Honda on softs. Tyre advantage again at the minute for Honda. That will soon drop off though if those tyres drop below 50% wear. Then it'll flip back over to the mediums being the advantage. Panda's managed to work his way past Harsh, and he's managed to work his way a little bit clear as well, over 1.4 seconds away, which means Harsh is out of slipstream range of Panda. SD now in a very lonely 8th position, 10 seconds behind Harsh, with a 3.1 second lead back to Apex. Good drive from Apex. Had a few mishaps in the qualification race, which I think moved him a bit further down. I think he finished 4th, but he could have been battling for the win without the incident at the beginning. Shippo still in 10th. Specs now starting to close Shippo in. We could see a battle here as the headlights all start coming on now. We're getting into the evening here. Smiley 5.3 seconds clear. I'm just really not sure about these tyres. If these tyres go off, he's going to be in big trouble. Just hope he's made the right decision, because he has absolutely driven phenomenally this race. It would be such a shame if he didn't win this race down to a wrong tyre choice, because he was comfortably faster on mediums. So to see him come out on softs and risk that, I thought he would have come back out on mediums, knowing he has been the faster driver for the whole of the first stint of this race. We've got a yellow flag somewhere. It's gone now, I don't know who that was for. Got boosted here. He is still closing Penelope in. He's pulled about another second on her in this lap. He now has the fastest lap with a 2:16.5. Very fast lap time, that is. He is stretching his legs here. Look, 8.5 seconds behind Penelope. He is seriously working his way up to the back of her here. By the end of this race, if he keeps going at this rate, he could be there or thereabouts. Honda now on to the back of Dad. This is our closest battle by far at the minute. Dad doesn't need to defend too hard here. Even if he dropped behind Honda, he would have a 9-second lead to his nearest championship rival, the championship leader in the GT class, Panda. Dad just needs to finish ahead of him as many times as he can here to claw back some points. Honda may make a move here at the end of this straight. Jaguar fast in a straight line, but so is that Mercedes. We'll go on board with him in the passenger seat as they come through. Eau Rouge Raidillon onto the Kemmel now. Will he be able to get a run? That Mercedes pulling away slightly. Mercedes just too fast here for him to get onto the back of it. Those soft tyres are advantage at the minute. Whether they stay like that by the end of the race is yet to be seen. He's opted for the softer tyre for this second stint, whereas Dad's gone mediums again. Tyre wear on this Jaguar seems quite good. Those front tyres are wearing very evenly, as are the rears. We might as well stay on with these guys, as it seems like they're the closest. We'll have a quick look up front and see what's going on. Smiley's front left is starting to heavily wear. That tyre is now 3/4 worn. This is going to be so close by the end of this race as to whether he's made a mistake and gave this race away through a bad strategy call. Comfortably the fastest on the medium. Took the risk onto the softs. Penelope now starting to close him in with this tyre wear as well. Penelope's tyres are definitely not going to wear. Smiley going to be sweating now. Boosted also only 6.4 seconds behind Penelope now. This could get really close by the end of this race. But all of the top three. We could see a last lap dash here. Back onto Dad and Honda here. Honda's still behind Dad. He's going to be desperate to get past him here, but he's just struggling. That Mercedes just seems to have the legs over the Jag when he needs it. Smiley does need to nurse those tyres, but I just don't know if he can nurse them. He can nurse them, it's very difficult. He's having to push so hard to keep those lap times, especially now Penelope is closing in on him. For me, I might be wrong, but I think we may have seen a mistake from Smiley. I think he should have opted for that medium tyre, but it's yet to be seen. He could have had the perfect strategy and crossed the line just in front, which would be phenomenal for him. He's still got a 4.5 second lead over Penelope, but that tyre wear is getting serious now. Boosted now, getting down to 5 seconds. He's really been pushing this last. If he'd have had a better qualifying position, he'd have been right up there. Remember, this guy started from last position. Started from the very back of the grid. Had to work his way through. He's obviously had a bit of contact there. There's some damage on the front of the car. Cosmetic damage. So there's obviously been contact. He's had his bumps, he's had his scrapes, and he's worked his way all the way from the back. And he's now under 5 seconds to Penelope in second place. Boosted in third. This is going to be close by the end. This is going to be really close by the end. Dad's still in fourth. Honda in fifth, still trying to make his way past Dad. I think that tyre wear, those fronts, that car's going to become very understeery with that tyre wear. It's going to start pushing through the corner instead of gripping, which is going to be difficult for Honda to keep making up time. He's been behind Dad now for quite a long time, sitting in that dirty air, which makes these cars very understeery anyway. Famous for GT, the Gran Turismo, if you're sitting behind in that dirty air, the car is very difficult to drive, very understeery. Dirty air has a big hold over this game. Panda comfortably in sixth now in his own little world. I think he'll be happy with that. He's driven really well to get into sixth. Second out of the GT drivers there, so I think he'll be more than happy. Haj in seventh. Another good race for him. Nice and comfortable now. SD into 8th. He's now pulled a nice lead on Apex, so he's comfortable. We've had a change for position. Specs has managed to get past Shippo, and Gloss Boss right onto the back of Shippo here. I think we may see Gloss make a move on Shippo here, and then I'm sure he'll be marching on his way to get Specs as well. We've got on board with Gloss in the passenger seat here to see what he does. He's on those soft tyres as well, quite heavily worn on the front. He moves out to the right hand side, filters back in behind Shippo. Is he going to get the run now down into Eau Rouge and Radion? This Corvette very fast, very, very fast. He moves out. This is going to be, are we going to have two abreast through Eau Rouge Radion? Kimi Antonelli style. Shippo backs out of it. That could be a penalty for Gloss. He cut that then, that could be a penalty. No, it looks like he's just got away with it. He's going to try and now work that 1.5 second lead down to Specs and get himself into 10th position. Shippo now down into 12th. Wrench into 13th. Highfield 14th. Ronnie still 15th. What's going on at the front? This is either going. This could actually be perfection from Smiley here on this call. Those tyres are so close to fully worn here. Boosted can see Penelope here now, 2.7 second lead, she is in front, coming on to this last lap. Smiley now taking the final lap. His left front is so close to being completely worn. I thought he might have made a mistake with the strategy, but it looks like it may have been called to perfection. Steady gap, great drive from Smiley all through this race. He has been by far the fastest driver, comfortably on mediums and now on softs. You had to lift through there though, that was wide. Do not want to be giving yourself no big penalties on this lap. He has been the fastest driver of this. He is very deserving of this win. This is why I was so worried about his strategy call, because he does, with the pace and the way he's been driving, he does deserve to win this race. He's lost a lot of time through this first sector. That car's becoming very difficult to drive. Is that going to be a penalty? Penelope now under 3 seconds behind him. It sounds like a lot, but when you've got zero grip, it isn't. She is catching him at a rate of knots now. That's 7 tenths in 2 corners. Is Smiley going to be able to keep at this position? Or is this going to come down to a last dive into the bus stop chicane from Penelope? Smiley has to get a good run through Stavolo. He has to get out of the corner. This is going to be so close coming down to the last corners. And Boosted. Boosted is right there as well. These guys going to be so close as they cross the finish line. Penelope now into the slipstream. Into the slipstream of Smiley. If he has to lift through the back of Blanchimont, she will be past him. That gap coming down now, look at this. 7 tenths, 6 tenths, 5 tenths. She really is coming. As she swings in wide, Smiley holds it tight. She cuts wide again. She's going to cut back. She's going to get the run on him. She has passed him through the last corner. Penelope with the move on Smiley in the last corner. That tyre wear was just too much for Smiley. Boosted, also driven phenomenally to get that close in third. That is incredible. Dad in fourth, Honda in fifth, Panda comfortably in sixth here, Haj in seventh, SD in eighth, Apex ninth at the minute. Specs has got a penalty, but I can't see anything doing of that. Shippo's a bit too far behind. I think we were... What's happened to Gloss here? He's dropped right back off the back of Ship. He must have made a mistake in that last lap. Wrench in 13th. I think he's going to finish in this order. I cannot believe what we've just seen here. I said I thought Smiley may have made a mistake going onto that soft tyre. Then just coming onto the last lap, it looked like he'd just done enough. But those tyres completely died during that last lap. Penelope put that big push back in and just had the edge over him with a cutback through the last corner. You have to feel for Smiley here. He was the fastest driver all through that race until the last 5-10 minutes of this race. And Penelope just did not give up. She kept pushing and she has got another victory. So that'll be once again extending her lead in this championship. Boosted with a phenomenal drive from the back. What a recovery drive. Came all the way back from 15th up to 3rd and then nearly worked his way through. You're saying Smiley for the driver of the day. I'm saying Boosted for the driver of the day. He's come from 15th to 3rd, was right on the leaders by the end of that race. Smiley has been the fastest driver, but has just made such a mistake with that strategy call. What a shame for Smiley. He will be absolutely kicking himself now. Everybody finished. We must be getting close to everybody finishing now. Who have we got left out on track? No, everybody's finished. This lobby will be finished shortly. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better race really, guys. Everybody drove phenomenal. Really close race. And what a battle in the last... It went down literally to the last metre of the race. You don't get better racing than that. That is been our closest race in this championship by far. The physics update, the tyre update looks like it may have brought this championship really close again. With our new drivers also, Honda a new driver, Boosted a new driver. These guys all making a difference to this championship. So once again, we'll run through these final results. Penelope in first with the pass on the line. Smiley will be devastated with second place, but second place nevertheless. Boosted into third after starting 15th. Dad, the first of the GT drivers after winning the GT qualification race. Another dramatic race. Honda into 5th. Panda 6th. Najal 7th, SD 12 in 8th, Apex in 9th, Specs 10th, Shippo in 11th, Glossboss 12th, Wrench 13th, Highfield 14th, and Ronnie in 15th position. So after a super exciting race, guys, that is all from us, and we shall see you next week for round 11. Thank you very much. See you, guys.